Hello people, and welcome to a new reading video. It is the month of October and I have not read like any of my fall TBR at all, and I want to read at least like 2 books from it because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it would make me feel happy to read at least like 2 books. So let me go grab a couple books that I'm thinking about reading and then I can decide which one I want to read next. Okay, so the 2 that I have right here, this one is on my October TBR and this is on my just fall TBR. This one is a new Sarah and Eden book, which is there really a contest? I really want to read this book. But then I also have Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Gilbert. I kind of want to wait until I have the second book because it comes out like next week because they're really short and I kind of want to read both of them back to back. So I might wait. I think I'm going to start on this one because I had it on my side table for like 3 days and I didn't read any of it. So I think if I pick this one up, I'd like to read it because it starts off with like texts. Why is that hard to say right now? Which I think would be interesting to read if it's like all in text form. No, it's not. Sad. I like it when it's like that. Mixed media. Oh, it is mixed media. Oh, fun. I love mixed media books. They're so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna read this and see if I like it. Let's also see if I can read like 4 pages of War and Peace. Look, I've made a small dent. Can you see? There is a small amount of pages I have read. I have made it through the first chapter. I'm on chapter 2. I'm very proud of myself. I don't know why this is so intimidating. I think I've put it up in my brain so high that it's like so scary to me. So we'll see if I read another 3 pages this reading vlog. You never know with me. And then the other book I'm probably gonna end up reading, just interspersed with this reading vlog, is Jesus the Christ because I'm reading it for my class and I am like a decent chunk of the way through. Actually, I'm on chapter 15 because we're reading like about 2 chapters a week for class. I think we're reading 2 chapters this week and 1 chapter next week because it's a big chapter. This will also probably get read at some point. Dark and stormy night. There was a cat, and the cat was a black cat, and it was evil. Actually, no, this is not an evil black cat. This is wonderful lighting. I should keep this for the entire video. Oh, I haven't lit these candles yet. Oh, it's wonderful. I love lanterns. They make me so happy. This candle is very low though, so we'll see how long it lasts. I put a light behind my house because it has like windows that can see, but I'm kind of scared it's gonna burn my house down, so I should turn that one off. All right, here's my ambiance. It doesn't really work. And then my wonderful lantern up here. Little pumpkin candle. And then my beautiful jack-o'-lantern in the corner. Guys, this video is getting too realistic. There's a spider on my bed. I don't like this. It knows I want to kill it, and it's been running away scared. Do you remove it under my blankets, you stupid bug? Last night, I did end up reading some more of my book after the spider came, but I didn't film it because I felt like I was tempting fate by having so much fall coziness in one room and attempting to capture it on camera, and that is why the spider came, because he was summoned. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I started reading Better Off Friends, and I did end up reading some more last night. I'm mixed because, number one, it is a little bit more YA. It's like straddling the line between middle grade and YA. And I have absolutely grown out of middle grade, and so I'm like kind of liking it and kind of not, because I'd still kind of like YA books if they're written well. And this book is written okay. I like it a lot better than the other book by her that I've read, because I read Prom and Prejudice, and I hated it. It was horrible. It was the worst book I read that entire month. No, actually I think I read a worse book, but it was a very bad book. So I was hoping that I would like this book better, because I did like the part in the book where she kind of strayed from the Pride and Prejudice plot. I liked that bit. I was like, oh, this is interesting. She does have a nice writing style. Just when she was forced to write Pride and Prejudice just in a different way, it was so boring to me. So I read a little bit more. I have to say, it does include the texts, like the texting between the characters, and I'm assuming that the texting is cueing flashbacks, which is from their perspective in the book, and it's going through the book, I think chronologically, but they're texting from the future, flashbacking to those moments, and it's really to read because you're like, okay, so you know they're still friends. So you don't like really get worried that they're ever permanently going to not be friends. And you also know at the point that they're texting, they're not dating. So it's like, okay, are we going to ever get to the present timeline? Is the texting like setup going to end? It's kind of a weird framing narrative, but it's okay. The thing that's really weirding me out is that there's been a couple really weird lines used, but my least favorite one is he's noticing. The other thing is they start out when they're like 12 because they're in 7th grade. So they're like 12, 13 maybe. So far I think they might have only gotten a year older. So they're still like 13, 14 years old, and he's noticing that his friend is changing, like his friend girl is changing, and he has this thought from his perspective that's like, oh, I'm not supposed to talk about the girls' bodies because they don't like it. I'm not supposed to talk about food. It's like a minefield. I'm not allowed to say anything. I can't help but notice that she looks really nice in this one shirt, and he has to like force this image of her in like this green low neck shirt out of his brain, and I'm like, did you have to include that? Like, do you not know how to write from the perspective of a teenage boy? Because so far, it's like, it's not the perspective of a teenage boy. You can tell it's written by a middle-aged woman. And that's fine. I didn't go in expecting to have perfect, accurate teenage boy brain. But also, did you have to think that a teenage boy just thinks about girls' boobs all the time? Like, I don't really like that. And it's not a good representation of men in media. Because that just perpetuates harmful stereotypes of men. And also perpetuates the thought that guys are only looking at your figure, which I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying it's not good to teach girls in books that that's all that they are. Anyway, I'm probably overthinking it because that's what I do these days, but those are my impressions of the book so far. Hi people. So, I know this isn't part of this video, but I just got a new bed. I know it looks exactly the same to you, but it's a little bit higher off the floor. It's a little bit taller and it's flat. My bed that I've been using for a while, the mattress was sinking in like this, like it's supposed to be flat and it was going like that. And so I was propping it up with blankets, so it was like that. And then when I put my hip on it, it was mostly level. It was so uncomfortable, but this bed is flat and it's beautiful and I'm so excited about sleeping on it tonight. But I have some books to update you with. I also finished another book that I didn't even tell you I was reading. Number one. So I finished reading Better Off Friends, which I told you I was reading, and my goodness guys, I gave it a 0.5 star. Just to give you my rating off the bat. And that's not because this is necessarily a horrible book. No, but it's because it wasted my time. It wasted my time and I was mad at it. Let's just say it's supposed to be like a friendship and they're like, should we be friends? No, we're better off friends. Like, we shouldn't date, but I kind of like you, but no, we shouldn't date. And I'm normally fine with those sort of things. Like, I eat up friends to lovers and like forbidden love for some reason or another. But in this book, it was so dumb and I hated our male main character. I was mostly annoyed at our female main character, but not as bad. But the author was just handling things so badly from the beginning that I was like, there's no way this gets better, is there? And it didn't get better. So I read the rest of the book in one sitting. I read like this much of the book, just enthralled. I think it was like a solid 200 pages at least. I was watching this train wreck unfold where just characters, like there was one good scene. That's why I gave it 0.5 stars, because there was one good scene that I wished it had just ended the book there, but it didn't. So that was disappointing. This book also had swearing in it. It was just one swear word, but we got through most of the book without swearing, and so I was like, okay, at least it's clean. It wasn't clean, so that knocked it down another 0.5 star. It had the dumbest, I told you a little bit at the beginning how like the main character guy reacted to the girl getting like a figure and how that like icked me out. It didn't get better. It didn't get better from any character, from any viewpoint. It was all horrible. And her teenage boy writing was insufferable the whole time, and I didn't like it at all at any point. I don't recommend this book at all. It was so horrible. There's also like this whole plot where her mom died, and so she's like recovering from grief, and it just snuck up on the character and it affected her in random ways at random times where you're like, am I supposed to care about you right now? Because I don't. I really don't. I don't have any reason to. It was bizarre, and it was such a weird book. I don't think this author's for me. I think it's just her writing. I bet when you're a teenager, you don't have as much knowledge of good writing, and I bet if I read this as a teenager I would have been more inclined to be kind to it, but I am not, because it's not good writing. So anyway, that's my review of that book. And then the other book I didn't tell you guys I was reading because I listened to it at work, and I didn't tell you I started listening to it at work, and then I finished it right before this clip started because I was listening to it while I was like cleaning my room, getting my bed set up and stuff, and that is The Secret of the India Orchid by Nancy Campbell Allen. Hey, editing me here. I realized I didn't tell you anything about this book at all. I just went directly into my review of it. So here I am to give you a synopsis of this book really quick. So this follows our main character, Sophia, who travels to India because the boy that she liked basically stopped talking to her out of nowhere, and she doesn't know why, and she's mad at him, and she's like, I don't want to be in London anymore. This takes place in like Regency. I think it's like slightly after Regency era England because they have like coal and steamboats and stuff like that. I think it's slightly Industrial Revolution, that's what I was looking for. Probably around the Industrial Revolution. It has her, she like flees London because she doesn't want to think about this guy anymore, and she goes to India, and in India she accidentally runs into him because he's there, because he's a spy. You learn this in the first chapter. I'm not spoiling anything. He's a spy, and he got tasked to go recover a very important document that got stolen. And so he can't tell anyone where he went or what he's doing because it could put them in danger. And so the plot basically follows them forcing to interact and having to disguise their attraction for each other. So kind of a typical, not enemies to lovers, but like ex-friends to lovers to not lovers back to friends. It's complicated. Here's a caveat really quick. It was really harsh in my review because I had just gotten off reading a book that I didn't really like, and then read another book that I thought I was going to really like until halfway through when I didn't like it anymore. So then I became more annoyed with it after that fact. And then also because I have read, I think I also talk about it a little bit more in depth there, but I have read 2 of her books back to back that I didn't really enjoy, that I thought I was going to enjoy. And so I was kind of salty that I had read these books and I didn't really enjoy them. So I'm a little bit more harsh than I tend to be in that review, but it is an okay book. I do recommend it. It is a decent book. It just wasn't for me at this time. So back to the regularly scheduled video. And this is the second book by her, well, I guess third, that I've read within the last couple months. And I don't know how I feel about her writing, because the first book I ever read by her, I enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed it. And then the second book I read by her, I enjoyed. I thought it was good. And then the third book I read, I was like, it's not as good. And then this book, I'm like middle of the road. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I think I rated it like 3.75 stars or something, because there was a lot about this book I did enjoy. I was really interested in the plot for most of the book. I was really interested in the love story for most of the book. And then about this far through the book, I guess that's a little more than halfway, it just all went downhill because she was like, let's make them be in love now. And then after that, she didn't know what to do. Like, it felt like she just had to throw random things in the book to give random plot lines for characters to do, because she's like, well, now that they're together, I don't know what to do with them. So how about this goes on and this goes on? And then the mystery went from me really caring to me not caring as much at all. And then the romance, like the eventual end, felt so lackluster because you hit the like best point of it halfway through the book. And so it's like, okay. So the first half of the book, I was close to 4 stars. Like, I really liked it. And then the rest of the book, I just didn't really enjoy it. And then also, what is it with characters making stupid, dumb remarks about girls? Because the main character boy did it again. Like, I will read you the first page of this book, okay? It's literally the first page. To say Sophia was beautiful was the grossest of understatements. She possessed a face and a figure men dreamed about, the kind that inspired poetry and duels at dawn. But in the 6 months since, so it already talks about her face and her figure, right? Okay, I guess it's not as bad. It's not as bad as I remembered. It says she possessed a face and a figure men dreamed about, the kind that inspired poetry and duels at dawn, right? So then it goes throughout the rest of the book to bring up the fact that she has a figure that people like over and over and over again. And I get it, the girl's hot, but like, does it have to be brought to my attention every time the male man character sees her interacting with any other man that this girl has a great figure and in fact he's in love with her and doesn't want any other man to look at her? It doesn't happen like too often, but it happened enough to get on my nerves. And then there was also like dumb comments, and there was this whole like women should be able to do what they want to do theme, and I'm a feminist, when those themes just fall so flat when it's supposed to be like, this isn't quite Regency, I think it's after maybe the Industrial Revolution, because I think there's a printing press, but it just falls so flat because you just know that women in this time are so oppressed. Like, they have no speaking power, and so it feels so futile, at least to me. Is it futile or feudal? I have no idea. I feel so futile for these characters to care so much about their women's rights and all of this stuff when you just know that no one's gonna listen to them, and in fact, if anyone listens to them, they're not really listening to them, they're just catering to their whims because they think they're cute. It's kind of hard to read because you just know that no one really cares about what they're saying. Although I believe that like women should be able to do all this stuff. It just doesn't fit this time period. So I always kind of hate when authors put that sort of like feminist woman thing in like Regency or like British stuff, unless it's like steampunk or something. It just does not go over very well. Because the other thing is she has another series where it's like steampunk with women being able to do whatever they want. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, you have a world with vampires, like sure, women can do whatever they want in that world. But in this world, I'm like, there's no way, there's absolutely no way they were gonna be able to do what they wanted. So anyway, we kind of have two lackluster books for the first two books I've read this video, but let's see what we got next. Okay, the next book I decided I wanted to pick up, which I haven't started yet, so you know I'm not that far ahead of updating you guys, is Netherwood by Jane Sanderson. This is on my fall TBR because if you look at these covers spines like this, it just gives autumnal. And then this, I think there's a tree that kind of looks fall-ish on the cover, so we're just calling it autumnal altogether. Now this book, after reading the back, is a widowed woman who falls in love with her manor. She's like a servant, and then she falls in love with her liege lord or something like that. So I think this is also supposed to be a Regency romance, but just the typesetting in this book is bizarre. It is such wide text, and then it has such such small spacing between the lines, so it just kind of looks like you're reading bleh, letters on the page. Like it doesn't even look like words, it just looks like so many letters together smushed. It's a very bizarre way that they typeset this. Anyway, I'm gonna start this one and see how I feel about it. It's 9 o'clock. I think also I should give you another update while I'm here talking to you. I got The Adventures of Tom Sawyer on audiobooks. I'm probably gonna listen to that at work tomorrow because that's also on my physical TBR for this month, but I'm letting myself listen to some of the books if I can find them, just because if I like them then I can keep the physical copy, and if I don't like them then I can just donate the book because I get them all from DI. I feel so bad about buying a physical book and then not reading the physical book, but I tell myself if it is from DI, it costs me $2 and it doesn't matter. And then if I'm buying a physical book because I really like the author, then no matter how I read that book, if I read my physical book or if I read it like audiobook it or if I Kindle book it, I'm still giving the author the money somehow. So I don't feel too bad as much anymore. Anyway, this one I looked up. It does not, sadly, have an audiobook because I think this would be a book that I'd really like to audiobook. Okay, this is a very interesting opening line. I said in my video where I'm talking about these books that I have on my TBR that I think this one might not be very well written. It was morning, but the bedroom was still as black as pitch when Eve Williams opened her eyes. Wednesday, she thought. Nearly payday, and it couldn't come a moment too soon. If this is... What time period is this supposed to be? Oh, this is bizarre. Okay. Welcome back to the reading video wherein I have ordered a new book and also a camera tripod, and I'm not used to being able to freestand, so I'm going to be moving around because this is my first like real clip with a tripod. It's really nice, but it's a little bit bizarre. Anyway, so I ordered the second book in the okay, I can order the second book in the, what is it called? Mercury Rain series. So now I have the first book and the second book. I wanted to read them back to back, like in order, so I might read those soon. I still haven't started the book I said I was going to start, so yay! I am still 3 pages into it that I was like 2 nights ago. That's fun. I had such a hectic day yesterday. I went to my Institute class, but then I got canceled because my Institute teacher just straight up didn't show up. So hopefully he's okay. He hasn't been showing up to his stuff for like all week, so I assume like he's letting his boss know like what's up. But the students don't know what's going on. So then I didn't have institutes. Then I went grocery shopping, and then I came back home, and then I was like kind of organizing my room a little bit. So it's like this corner right here with this stack of, it's just like a stack of bins now. It used to be one lower, so I brought in my one that has stuffing because I was making a costume for one of my boyfriend's nieces, and so I brought that in, and I kind of was like organizing the bins with all my sewing stuff in them because the bins had like so much random junk in them that I was like going through to make sure that like it was stuff that I actually wanted to keep. And I didn't get rid of very much. There's a pile of old denim on the floor by me because I thought I was going to use it for a project, but I need to decide because I don't want to keep it in that bin. But I was in the middle of going through that, and then my boyfriend calls me at like 9 o'clock. Keep in mind, he's at work right now. And he calls me and he's like, hey, do you want to go on a date with me? And I was like, I mean, yes, but like, I wasn't expecting this. Like, you're at work. He's like, oh, I got off early. Do you want to go on a date? There's like a dance. And so I was like, okay, but I have to be back for, you know, work, because I work in the morning. And so we ended up going to the dance. It was so much fun. I ended up seeing people that I haven't seen since like high school, but I didn't say hi because it's just awkward, okay? When you haven't talked to them in like 3 years, to be like, hi, remember me? Okay, goodbye. You know, it's never my favorite conversation. So after that was really fun, but I got home at like 11:30, ended up going to bed past 12. I'm so tired because then I ended up having to wake up for work, and then I thought that there were HVAC people coming to work this morning, so I was kind of stressed about that, but then it ended up they're moved to Monday, which I don't work, so I don't have to deal with the HVAC people like doing a bunch of stuff, so I'm really grateful about that actually. And then after work this morning, I have come home, and then I got a package, and now I'm testing out my tripod. So that's been my day so far. This tripod is like really portable. Like it winds up rather small. So I'm excited about having a tripod, because now I can film reading wrap-ups in front of like a nice background, and I don't have to like deal with this sort of a thing. The other nice thing is I can use my mirror behind me so I can see what's going on the screen to make sure I'm in the middle of the frame, and I can have the nice camera. I love the nice camera. It's so much better than my front-facing camera. Everything's coming up roses. I'll update you again once I do some reading. Actually, I take that back. I did do reading yesterday. I read my Jesus the Christ chapters. Hello, so I have been reading this book. I'm probably going to cut out most of my initial rantings about this book just because I was tired. It doesn't need to be included. But the most important things that I said in that rant were that this book uses too many words. Too many words. It makes it just taking so long to say what it's trying to say. And normally I'm okay with books that are slow paced, if they're fine. But this book is not written very well. Some reviews say that it is, but it's not really. When you put in so much detail about stuff that doesn't matter, it is not written well. Some of the sentences are nice, but a lot of them make no sense because this author's trying to write in an old-fashioned style when she's not an old-fashioned person. Not a lot of people can pull that off. It's a hard thing to do. It just doesn't work very well. And now I'm this far in. I have about 150 pages left. I'm on page 285 and there are 430 pages. So I am, about 150 pages to the end. We haven't even met the real love interest yet. I have read 284 pages and we haven't met the real love interest yet. It is just a random assortment of characters doing random things. It doesn't feel like anything's connected. It doesn't really feel like anything matters. You can be in a person's point of view and you don't know if it's going to be relevant to the story because you learn so much about this one character and so far they have not been important at all. There's been this another character that's important. I don't know what's going to happen. I literally flipped to the last couple pages because I was like, what in the world? What else can be in this book? Like, if she's not going to marry this one dude, who is she going to marry? Because there was this person this whole time that I was like, this is obviously the love interest. What is going on? And nope, not the love interest. We haven't even met the love interest. I almost stopped reading this yesterday because I was so frustrated with I was like 30 pages in and I was like, what does this matter? This is written so, like, if the words, it just felt long. And not to mention, I was tired and it was hard to concentrate on the words because it just looks like letters splashed onto a page. It doesn't look like separated words with the spacing. The spacing's really weird, so it's hard to read quickly unless you get like into it. Once you stop, it's hard to get back into reading. Once you're reading, it's fine. It doesn't have great ratings on Goodreads, so I didn't go in thinking it was gonna be the best written book in the world. I was reading a review yesterday because I was trying to decide whether I wanted to keep reading this book or not, and one of the reviews said the characters are as wooden as the shoes on their feet, and that is just because they're wearing clogs. It's wonderful. That was a great review, better written than anything in this book. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this book purely because I forced myself to read this far, but I'm not really enjoying it. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it because I have been forcing myself to read it, I guess. I haven't been reading it because I'm interested in it. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Hello, greetings. It is much much later in the day. I finished the book. Why is this book in print? I don't know what I'm gonna rate it. I finished it 3 seconds ago. As I told you, the love story started. You meet the love interest. You meet the love interest here. 300 pages into the book. Oh my goodness. I am so I didn't care about the love interest. I think if I'd met the love interest first, like here, I would have cared. But as it was, this book felt like a random assortment of scenes loosely strung together with a semblance of a plot, but none of it that I cared about. I wasn't interested in anything. There was one character that I vaguely cared about, and then they kind of, I don't know, he had like a character flaw, so he was interesting. The main character had like no character flaw. She had no character. And it was, I didn't feel connected to any of the characters because it bounced between perspectives and time so much. This book, I honestly really didn't like anything about this book. It's like a 1-star read. I'll think about it for a little bit and decide what I'm going to rate it, but it's not going to be high. Did I like it more than Better Off Friends, though? Yeah, I liked it slightly more than Better Off Friends, and that one I gave a 0.5 star. So 7.5 to 1 star, maybe 1.25. 1.25 might be my rating, because it wasn't the worst book I've ever read in my life, but it was also terrible. But I wasn't, like, mad at it the whole time I was reading it, but I don't think it deserves any higher than that. Anyway, that's fun. We got another book done. I have also started listening to The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I started listening to it while I was crocheting the other day, and I'm liking it so far. It is harder to listen to it than read it, so I think I might read the rest of it physically. We'll see what I decide. I might listen to it at work tomorrow. I think I might pick up one more physical book this video, and I think it might just be Sarah and Eden. So I'll come back when I decide the next book I'm going to read. Bookmark. I have been doing so many things in the past couple days that I don't remember doing. Like, I put a bookmark in here last night. I assume it was before I went to work. I was doing like my reading journal and I got all the way caught up, which amazing for me. But I was like looking and I was like, I already filled this. When did I fill this? I read this so recently. When did I write this in here? I thought it's been like a month since I read. Last time I used my journal was like 4 days ago. I don't remember doing it. It must have been Sunday or something. Because I straight up don't remember. I think that's good, maybe, I don't know. So, funny story, I started reading Ghost Broker by Sarah Eden last night. I got like more than halfway through, which it's like a 100-page book, so that took me like 45 minutes-ish to get this far in. So then I got a text from my boss that said, hey, so the AC unit guys didn't come today. They're gonna come tomorrow. So you need to get there later in the morning or earlier in the morning to get prep done, because otherwise you'll be prepping when they're working and you don't want to get the dust in the food. So I was like, okay, it's like what, 11 o'clock right now. I can just go to work. I can get half of it done, do the other half in the morning, my hair. This is what it was from work. I'll just take it out. I thought it'd be cute, but it's falling out way more than I thought it was. So I went in, I did like half of it. I got back home at like 1:30. So I did quite a lot. And then this morning I got a text that said, hey, so they didn't end up doing it today. They canceled. They're gonna do it tomorrow. So I ended up going in later and just finishing prep. And so tonight I'm gonna go back, do the whole thing all over again. And if they end up canceling one more time, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I told my coworker that I wanted Friday off this week because I wanted to do Halloween, which is true. But I also I don't want to be at work. I just don't want to be at work with all the chaos and stuff. So anyway, that is what happened. So I made it like halfway through last night before having to take a break. And it was really good. It was super cute. It was better than I expected. We're in just one character's POV, point of view, and he's so funny. So I won't give you too many spoilers because the book is so short that if I like give you basically any synopsis, then I'll just tell you like half the book. Like the first little part of it is the main character's Mercury Rain. He is an orphan, and in this world, everyone has a ghost. They are born with a ghost attached to them. They either have a ghost or they don't have a ghost. And this is like Regency era London, so they have like the soirees and all that stuff, and having a ghost is this big social thing. If you have the right kind of ghost, then you have this huge boost in social prowess, and people are like, oh, you have such a cool ghost. And so there are people called ghost brokers who have more than one attachment to a ghost. So some people just have one, but he has 20 attachments, which is huge, a ton of ghosts. And so he's able to swap ghosts with people, and they get to choose if they want a different ghost, and he can help like change their attachments. And it is so funny. Like, the premise of this book is you have two people that are at his mansion at the same time to swap ghosts, and just like the interplay between the ghosts and the people and him. And it's so interesting. There's a little bit of a mystery, and I think there's going to be this book, there's a second one that I have, and then I think there's a third one that's coming out. But I would read like so many in this series. It is so cute. I always like go in a little bit questioning to a new Sarah M. Eden book. Not that they've ever disappointed me, but I'm always like, there's no way that I'm gonna love this one just as much as I've loved the other ones. And I always do. I always do. So it's probably good that I don't get my hopes up like way too high, because if I got them crashed ever, I would be so sad. But so good. I'm loving it so far. I'm gonna do a little bit more reading. I might finish the book before I head out the door today, and I'll give you my review on this book. And I think this will be the last one for this video, because I want to read the second one in like more of a Halloween focused video. So I'm gonna try to read more spooky reads. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I've been listening to Tom Sawyer, which I don't think I'm gonna finish in this video just because I'm a little tired because my sleep schedule just got completely messed up. I started listening to Tom Sawyer a couple days ago. I told you that. But I listened to some last night. Guys, I didn't realize how relevant Tom Sawyer is to this season. I have not heard the plot of this book. I know the plot of Huckleberry Finn. Like, I know it's the boat and all this stuff, and it has to do with like a slave and like free the slaves and stuff like that. I had no idea what the plot of Tom Sawyer was. No idea. And so I get to like this really important pivotal part. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers because it was a good plot twist. It was a really good plot twist, because I thought it was just gonna be like fun stories of Tom Sawyer when he's a boy. Kind of like the same vibe as Anne of Green Gables, but there's not really a solid arc to the plot. I thought it was gonna be kind of like that. There's a plot. There do be a plot, and it is not something I wanted to hear when I was alone in a restaurant in the middle of the night. So that was creepy, so yay! So I get to keep reading that book now. Not at night though. Not at night. It's not super creepy, but it does involve a aspect that is not good for someone who is terrified of being alone in the dark anyway. That's my experience with Tom Sawyer so far. But it's very well written. I'm liking the audiobook quite a lot, because the narrator is speaking the language in a way that I wouldn't hear it. Like, he's giving them southern accents sometimes, and he's doing, I assume, he's doing what the author says that the characters are talking like, but in my head I probably wouldn't have heard it the same way as the narrator is saying it. So it's very fun to hear like the different things, and he like talks in the boy speak where they're like little boys and they talk like the like it's very fun. I'm liking it so far. I like the narrator. But yeah, let's finish this book. I knew it! I'm so good at this. Finished Mercury Rain, Ghost Broker, and with that I have finished 4 books for this video. And I have to say, the spines are very autumnal, which I'm excited about. It's always fun to look at my I've read these books this month pile and see them all just be, you know, matching the theme. It's so fun. And because it's been a little bit, I'll go through and give my ratings, my final ratings on all these books again. Better Off Friends, I think I ended up giving it 0.5 stars because there was one good scene and the rest, ugh. Don't recommend that book. The Secret of the India Orchard, I think I gave this 3.25 stars because it was okay, but I was like kind of bored also towards the end. The first half was decent, and then the second half I was like, meh. Then I read Netherwood by Jane Sanderson. This one I ended up giving 0.75 stars because the writing was fine in places, and for that I gave it 0.75 stars. But the rest of it, didn't care at all. Don't recommend this book. And I read Sarah M. Eden's Mercury Rain, Ghost Broker, the first book in the series. So good. I just finished this, so I'm not quite sure what I'll rate it. I think maybe 4.5. 4.5 sounds good, because I really enjoyed it. There was parts where I laughed. It was just very short, so there wasn't much for me to get invested in. But if I really enjoy the series, I might bump it up later on. I did that with the Emma M. Lyon, the first book. I think I initially rated it like 4.5 or 4.75 because I was like, it's the first book in the series, I can't rate it 5 stars. It's like 100 pages. And now it's a 5-star in my brain. So we'll see if I end up bumping it up. But I really liked this book. It was very cute. And with that, I finished all the books in this video and they're very autumnal. I had a very fun fall reading vlog. I had some interesting experiences with spiders and it's been fun just seeing like my lights and reading a book and being like, I match so well. There's also leaves outside on the ground now, which is really fun. My neighborhood's trees are shorter than some of the other ones in this area because it's a newer neighborhood, and they've been slowly getting taller and taller. And so as I was driving up the street today, I saw that they were like all orange behind my house, and I was like, the trees, they got taller and they're orange. It's lovely. So it's been a very, very nice week. I will see you in the next video. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. Goodbye.